Hello everyone, Rochelle here, Dreaming English, and thank you so much for taking part and joining me for this live where I'm going to talk about like holiday traditions, mostly like Christmas during the month of December. I want to share some pictures with you. I want to hear from you, well, in the chat. I already see Vignesh asking what the temperature is in Celsius, and it's -7. It was even colder. It was even colder when I woke up. So behind me, I have the fireplace going because it is winter. It is the time of year, at least in the northern hemisphere, that it's getting very, very cold. And we woke up and it was even colder than that. So I want to share with you a lot of pictures, and I would love to see your comments in the chat to know where you're coming from. I know Vignesh is already here from India, but please let me know in the chat where you're coming from around the world, and please let me know what your holiday traditions are. So I will start by sharing my screen, and I am going to, I'm going to share pictures. So let's see, let's see what that's going to look like. So I am going to share pictures from around the world, not from around the world, but from my different things. So you see right here, this is behind me. Of course, you can already see this, but I want to talk about the different things that you see here, and let me know if you have questions. So I shared before that my children's father is from Russia, so I have a lot of things from Russia. So right here, this particular thing, this is an instrument. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a stringed instrument, but on it is the troika. So the 3 horses in a row are the troika. And here is Father Frost, and I think maybe his niece, I can't remember her name because I don't know Russian, but his niece that travels around with him is there as well. And over here is another kind of a plate with the troika, the 3 horses together. That's one of the Russian words that I know. I think I know about 4 Russian words. But here again is that troika, the 3 horses together. And right here, this is the Blood Cathedral, which I believe is in St. Petersburg. But if someone knows exactly where it is, thank you, Mimosa from Chad, for joining. Hope I'm saying your name right. So I have different screens here so I can see the chat as well, and I can see what I'm looking at. So any case, this Blood Cathedral, I think it's the Cathedral de Sangrad. I'm not exactly sure if I'm saying that correctly, but I believe it's in St. Petersburg, but it might be in Moscow. So let me know in the comments if you know where that's from. I have things from all over. This right here, this is like one of these things, like a Chinese cat that has its arm that waves back and forth. It doesn't wave right now because it's broken, but it's part of my like holiday traditions of putting that out. This here I bought when I was a teenager at TJ Maxx. It's a glass tree that I like. And here, this is from San Francisco, from Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory in San Francisco that I got. And here's a Mexican doll. So I have all kinds of things, and that's what I want to share with you, is different things that I have from all over the world. So if you let me know your different traditions. Here is the Father Frost that I was talking about, and here's his niece that travels along with him. So I got these ornaments. I was looking all over the internet, and I've actually found these ornaments on some website. They're made in America actually, but they're supposed to be a Father Frost. So I bought them again because I have lots of things that are from different parts of the world, and especially because my children are part Russian, I like to have things that are kind of representing the different heritages that we have. Oh, something else that I forgot to point out on my mantle. Right over here, this particular reindeer, this is from Finland because I'm part Finnish and I have a friend from Finland. Hello, English with AK, thank you for joining. And yeah, so this particular one is from Finland. And so my friend from Finland, she actually told me that Santa Claus lives in Finland. Santa Claus apparently lives in Finland because it's like really close to the Arctic. And so she came and visited me, and she brought this reindeer. It's silver. It's not real silver, but it's beautiful. And the antlers actually will hold candles, so I could put candles in them and light them. So that's just part of the holiday tradition. So I'd wanted to share that with you as well. So let's see how many days, Vignesh, you're asking. Well, here in the U.S., Christmas is on December the 25th. And one of my favorite movies that I love to watch, I'm going to stop sharing screen. One of my favorite movies that I love to watch is called Scrooge. Let's see if you can see this without the reflection. The window's over there. But it's with Albert Finney. Albert Finney is right here. And this is a musical, and one of the songs he sings is December the 25th. December the 25th. I'm not going to sing for you because I'm not a great singer, but in any case, we always watch this. This is part of our holiday tradition, is to watch this musical version. I think it's from like 1969 or 70, with Albert Finney, who was in many different musicals, including Annie. So we usually watch this usually right after Thanksgiving. So that is also one of our holiday traditions. So let me know in the comments what your traditions are. What are the holidays that you celebrate, your favorite holidays around the year? It doesn't have to be December. It just happens to be that I really like this. I like the holidays here in December. I actually wanted to talk more about what I have on my mantle, so I'm going to share screen again. One of the things I forgot to mention is this kind of like this house here. This was in my family when I was young, and it has a little fireplace here and a little cat. And when I was young, my sister actually, she broke the little pieces of wood here. And up in the attic part of this house is a little mouse and their little Christmas tree. I don't know that you can see it very well, but I really love this. And upstairs is the children that are sleeping and they're waiting for Santa Claus to bring their presents. So that is something else that I wanted to share. I love this. All these things that I put on my mantle, I love. They're so beautiful. I usually put these out like a week before Thanksgiving, because the day after Thanksgiving, I get my tree, which this is a picture of my tree from last year. The tree, what we do is we drive to the Christmas tree farm, and we go and my son cuts down a tree with a saw, and we go there, and that's our Black Friday thing. So last week I talked about Black Friday. I had a group of people that were joining me online, and we talked about Black Friday. And my Black Friday thing is to drive to the Christmas tree farm and cut down my tree. So I want to show you some other pictures of the tree. It is quite a, let me find some pictures of it. It is, and I'm going to talk about not all of these pictures because I have so many, but I want to show you what I put under my tree. I put under the tree a village. I have little houses. I have a grade school here and little people. And I love this picture because it's a picture like the cat behind all these little people. This cat is actually scared of his own shadow. But I have a train that goes around it. It actually goes. It's a Lionel train. The people, if you look, they're probably too big. They would never fit in these houses. And the train, I'll show you some pictures of that. The train is way too big for everything because I didn't buy them all together. But I still think it's beautiful. So let me see if I can find another picture that I can show you of that. I have all these pictures, not in any particular order, but any case, let me see if I can find a better picture to show you that particular train around the tree. And I just have so many pictures. Let's see. Oh, the movie. I don't know if that movie is available on YouTube. I bought it. I'm not sure if it's available on YouTube. I ended up buying the DVD, and I really am not sure that you can find it on YouTube. You might be able to. But it's called Scrooge with Albert Finney. I would just Google it. This is not actually my display, but this is from a place in Massachusetts called the Deerfield Yankee Candle Factory, and it's a kind of a famous place here in Massachusetts. The candle factory is very famous. They started out with these two brothers that were like making some candles out of crayons for their parents, for their mother, for Mother's Day, and other people wanted them, and so they started this business, and now it's, I think, candles sold around the world. and they have a big, huge store, and they sell these little kind of buildings that you see here. And they sell trains, and they sell candles, they sell ornaments and all that kind of stuff. So I was trying to find a picture that has my train, but I can't find that. Another one of my traditions, and I'm going to jump around from different things because my pictures are not in any sort of order. They're just things that I kind of like put together to share with people. My tradition when I was a kid was to go to my grandparents on Christmas Eve. And so this is one of the last Christmases that we had in my grandparents' house. Over here is my grandfather, and we would go there, and my grandmother would make fried squid. My grandmother, her family was from Italy, and she would make fried squid, and we would gather together, and we would do what's called the Yankee Swap, which I can explain what that means. And so that was like a really special tradition for me as a kid, and all the way up until here's my son here, and my daughter's over here. So I think we were going there until my kids were probably, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, because my grandfather passed away, unfortunately. But in any case, it was a very special tradition, and so I wanted to share that with you, because that was one of my Christmas Eve traditions, was to go to my grandparents' house. Another tradition that we have is we make reindeer food to feed to the reindeers, to Santa's reindeers. So we just take some oatmeal and I think we take some sugar and mixed oatmeal. And my children actually try to throw it on the roof because they have the idea that the reindeer land on the roof because, Santa comes down the chimney, right? And so they try to throw it up on the roof, but quite often it falls on the driveway. So I don't know, maybe the little mice get the parts, all the reindeer food that falls on the driveway. But in any case, that's one of my traditions. And here's just another picture where I think you can see the train. You can see the train here. This is Christmas morning after Santa Claus has come, and these gifts are not all from Santa. Most of them are from me. Santa just brings a couple things for the kids. And it looks like a lot, but they're things that my kids need, like new socks and clothing for the winter and stuff. I think I don't really like the commercialization of Christmas. I really try to get things that people need. There definitely are some toys, although my kids are getting a little old for toys, but there are toys thrown in there, but most of the stuff is practical things that people need. So let's see, Vignesh is saying, I will be going to college weekly twice, otherwise I would go to Carol's. Okay, so yeah, my son's actually in college. I think I've talked about that before. My son's in college, and he will be coming home for Christmas. It's his first year in college. He's going to college in Boston, and so I'm looking forward to him coming home. He came home for Thanksgiving was it last week or the week before? I lose track now with the whole, I think with the whole coronavirus, I lose track of time somehow. I don't know if anyone else loses track like that, but I can't quite seem to remember. I think it's causing a fogginess in everybody's brain. And I didn't get coronavirus. It's just the fogginess of living through this pandemic, I think, that's causing me to okay, was it last week or the week before that Thanksgiving happened? But I think it was last week. Any case, he's coming home. He'll be home on the 19th, and I'm looking forward to that. He'll be home for about a month because the holidays here for Christmas is about a month. So, like I said, every year we go, and this is a real Christmas tree that we've cut down from the Christmas tree farm, which I'm going to look for some pictures of that. I know I have pictures of us going to the Christmas tree farm in here somewhere. I have so many pictures to share, and please put your questions in the chat. This is one of the things too, my daughter always puts the light on the tree, the star on the top of the tree. So we get this tree the day after Thanksgiving, and the first thing that goes after we bring this tree in the house, we actually anchor it to the ceiling because I have cats, and one year on Christmas Day the cats climbed the tree and knocked the tree over. And as you can imagine, there's some glass ornaments on the tree, and things were broken right before people were coming over. So Any case, the star actually has like behind the star is a hook on top of the ceiling, and I use a bungee cord to kind of hook that in and make sure that if the cats ever did climb that tree again, it's not going to knock over, because I wouldn't want that to happen again. That was like almost 20 years ago that happened, but I don't want that to happen again. So let me see if I can find, here's another picture of, actually we have bunnies. I'm not sure if you've been following our channel, you might have seen our bunnies. We have 3 bunnies and 2 cats. And so this is a picture of the bunny, and you can see the big train, which is obviously too big for the people that live in this village. But in any case, I like it. I think it's beautiful. I know I might be biased, but I really do think this way that I do the tree with the village underneath and the train, I think it's very beautiful. The train is a Lionel train. It used to make sounds, but that's broken. And it used to have some way that smoke would come out of the smokestack here, but that again is broken. I bought this train set for my son when he was 4 years old, and now he's 18. So this train set is 14 years old, but it still works. Again, put in the chat if you're just joining where you're coming from, and please hit the like button. That would be awesome as well. I totally appreciate that. One of the traditions we have is we have a parade in town, and you can see the snow here. This is my son, and last year the marching band played in the parade, and they bought things like these kind of battery powered lights like I have around my neck. They decorated their instruments. My son plays a saxophone. I think this is a clarinet. They also like bought, you know, Santa hats or different elf hats, and they were part of the parade. We also have like things like, this is LTV, who kind of doesn't sponsor us, but I borrow equipment from them. So I always say thank you to LTV. So this is the guy that's the CEO of LTV driving the decorated LTV van. So you can actually, if you go to lemonster.tv, you can see my videos, not every video, but you can see some of the videos that I use with their equipment, and also some of the conversation videos you can find on their website, because they lend me their equipment. So part of the agreement is that I provide them with some content to put on their channel. So it is basically a really awesome thing that we have here, that for only $25 a year, I can borrow really almost professional equipment. I can actually record in their studio if I want to. I can book time to record in their studio. They'll teach me how to use editing stuff. So it's really not the topic this morning. The topic is holiday traditions, but I just want to give a shout out for LTV. I think I really love what they have done. And this is something that's offered in many cities around the United States, a membership that doesn't cost very much, where you can actually make content for the community. So I just wanted to share that. And you can also see that one of the things is, when we have this parade, Santa comes on a fire truck. He rides around the parade, and then he gets off the fire truck and he hands out candy canes to people. And so what do I have my plans for Christmas? My plans for Christmas is to have family, not a lot of family, but some family over. I'm going to cook a turkey, and we will have what's called a Yankee Swap. So I'll talk about what does Yankee Swap mean. I'm going to just stop sharing for a bit. So what does Yankee Swap mean? It means that we buy gifts, like one gift, you buy one gift, and everybody that comes and wants to take part brings a gift that costs maybe under $10, and you wrap it, and you don't put a name on it, and you put it under the tree. Well, you don't put it under my tree because you can see there's no room under my tree, so you put it on the side of the tree. And so what does that mean? So when we do that, we all get a little piece of paper. Like basically, I will write numbers on a piece of paper. So 1 through 10, depending if there's like one person, if there are 10 people taking part, I will put 10 pieces of paper, 1 through 10. And everybody will pick a random piece of paper with a number. Now, when we start, the first person that has number 1, they go and they pick a gift, and they open it up and they show it to everybody. Then number 2 is called. Number 2 picks up any gift they want. They take that gift, they open it up. If they don't like that gift, they can switch with number one, and so on. Now, the key is the higher number you have of your piece of paper, the better chances you have of getting a better gift, because you can pick from the other people that have opened their gifts. However, number one, since they didn't get to choose a gift from anyone else because they were the first, they get to pick among all the other people. So if there's 10 people, all the other people, the 9 people that opened their gifts, they get to look around, and if they like the gift that anyone else has, they can switch. So number one is the best ticket to have, or the best little piece of paper to have in Yankee Swap, and then the other would be the highest number. It's fun. People bring crazy gifts. We laugh. Some people, are disappointed. It's always volunteer. I always say to everyone, if you don't want to take part, don't take part, but you need to be okay with not getting the gift that you open if you take part. So I think it's a lot of fun. I'm going to get back to sharing some pictures, and please put your questions in the chat. Another tradition we have is we have this thing called Elf on the Shelf. And so here is our elf. It's not a picture of him on my shelf, but he sometimes is on that mantle behind me quite often, on that reindeer that I talked about, or the house. But here he's on the globe. And every night, the idea of Elf on the Shelf is that he's magic. He flies back to the North Pole, and he reports to Santa on the behavior of the children. And then he arrives back in our house the next morning before the children wake up, and he's in a different place. So he comes right after Thanksgiving, or the next day after Thanksgiving, and he stays all the way up until Christmas Eve, and each day is in a different place. And sometimes the kids will ask, all families give their elf a different name. Our elf is called Elfie, because why not? And, my daughter will say, Elfie, can you bring some candy canes and put them on the tree? And then the next morning, there will be candy canes hanging on the tree. Now, Elfie doesn't bring everything she wants, but, she can ask him for things. And sometimes she'll say, Elfie, could you bring some chocolate chips so I can make chocolate chips tomorrow morning? And the next morning on the counter might be some chocolate chips. So any case, that's Elfie. He arrives each day in a different place, and I like to take pictures of the places that he's arrived. So here he's on the globe, and this globe is very old. It was my grandparents'. It actually has Russia listed as the Soviet Union, but it also has other places that are, to kind of date it, it's probably a good 50 or 60 years old, this globe. So it's really not accurate, but I kind of like it. All right, so what else would I like to share with you? So I want to show you, this is my house, and last year we had a lot of snow, and here the snow is just falling over the window. And I actually have solar panels on the roof, so when this happened, I wasn't getting any sun, any energy from the solar panels, but it was neat. It was kind of just like falling down as a curtain, and the lights you see, they're kind of these like projection lights that will kind of like shine some pretty lights onto the house. So I just thought that was kind of neat. But that's what my house looks like from the outside during Christmas. And here's another view of the tree. So please let me know your questions. Please hit the like button. That would be awesome. But along the top of the window, you can see, I'm going to use the mouse here. These are cards that I got from people. A lot of them are from my friend in Finland. She actually spent some time in Nepal, and this is a leaf that she painted. Let me see if I can go in a little bit closer. She painted a scene on this leaf. You can't really see it very well from here, but this is also a scene from Finland, from a village in Finland, and just different cards. This again is the troika. And if I go through, yeah, those are the different ones. I have a lot of them from my friend in Finland that are shown there. But please let me know your questions. What are your traditions? I'd love to hear from you in the comments as I'm talking about things. Another thing that is very a tradition in my family, we had somebody that was born on the same day my daughter's born. My daughter's birthday is coming up this week, December 10th. And there was somebody in our town that had the same birthday that's over 100 years, born 100 years before she was born. And he was famous because he carved all of these things, and he used to have them displayed in his yard, but he's passed away, so the city has now all these carvings. They are from styrofoam, and he would carve them, and he would paint them. And so here's the Grinch. Here we have Santa Claus. This I believe is Santa's village or Santa's castle. So these things are displayed in our city hall every year now. But I do have pictures somewhere of my daughter when she was young, because we used to go to his house. Another tradition we have is going to see lights. So this was a light show that was in Connecticut, which is a town below us. And we went to go, this is someone's house, and they have all these different lights displays at their house in Connecticut. And so that's one of the traditions we have, is to kind of go see lights. People in the U.S., they will put a lot of lights for Halloween, and then right after Halloween, they change them out for Christmas decorations and put all kinds of lights outside of their house. So these people have all kinds of lights. I don't even know how many, but a crazy amount of lights at their house. And they actually allow people to walk around their yard and look at the lights. So here's my daughter. This was a few years ago. I'm not exactly sure what year it is, but it was a few years ago before COVID. And that was one of our traditions, is to go see different light displays. Here is just a little kind of thing. Google makes little GIFs, and so it made a little GIF of the cat playing with some toy. So just thought I'd show you that. But again, please put inside of the chat your different traditions. I'd love to hear from you or see your comments, and I definitely will read them and talk to you about them. So let me see. One of the traditions we have is my kids put out milk and cookies. So you see there's a fire behind me. On Christmas, I don't put a real fire because obviously we don't want Santa coming down to have a real fire. So this is a fake little fire here that I have. And there's a cookie. Well, the kids will put a cookie out and some milk for Santa. So that's one of the traditions that we have. Let's see. A couple years ago before COVID, we got tickets to go see the play Elf, which is based on the movie Elf, which is super, super funny. If you haven't seen it, look it up. I'm not sure where you can see it, if it's on YouTube or Netflix, but it's super funny. But this was a in-person live play based on the movie. And so I took a picture of our elf. Our elf ended up deciding to kind of hang out by the little postcard of the play that we saw. And we have a theater called Hanover Theater that's in Worcester. You can see where it says Worcester. Cool thing about the Hanover Theater is it used to be a movie theater, and it was closed for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And then Hanover Insurance ended up buying the building and fixing it all up and made a really fancy theater at Hanover Theater. So it's really beautiful, and you can go see Broadway shows there, but not pay a lot of money that you would go and pay if you went to New York. And also, it's only 30 minutes from my house, which is awesome. If I went to go see things in Broadway, they'd be super expensive, and it would take me 3 hours. So, Vignesh, you're talking about the new variant of the virus. I'm concerned about that, and definitely it's going to change our plans where I think we're not going to go out to as many places, and we're definitely going to wear a face mask. This discussion isn't really about coronavirus, but yes, I think this year I'm hoping to at least have some few close family that are vaccinated to the house on Christmas Day, but I wouldn't be having a lot of people, and I won't be going to a lot of indoor places because of that. So it definitely is going to, and yes, I believe it's already in the U.S. Something else we did on during the Christmas month is they have this thing where, I don't know if they've done this for a couple of years, but a few years ago they had Santa Claus come in a helicopter and land at our little local airport, and then you could go and ask Santa Claus what you want for Christmas. So that was kind of fun. And it was, just a neat thing, something different to do during the month of December. I only did that once, but here's another picture of Santa Claus coming during our holiday parade. It's actually a holiday parade here in our town of Leominster, and there was Santa Claus coming on the fire truck again. So let me see. One of our traditions is to go to a living nativity, and this is a picture, the living nativity that we go to, and I'm actually going to go tonight. It's outside, so I think it's pretty safe. Is they have people that are dressed up, and they're actually speaking either Latin or Hebrew. This person is actually one of the three kings, and he is like speaking some language, I'm not sure, but they're all in character. There's live animals. Here is one of the Roman soldiers, so he will go and arrest different Hebrew people and put them into a pretend kind of prison. And what else? This person is taking the census. These pictures are not the best because I took them with my cell phone, not even the cell phone, so they're probably not the best. But he's taking the census, and he's asking people where they're from. But he will say to me, he says he's talking in Latin, and I could understand it a little bit because it's almost sounding like Spanish. And he'll say, oh, like woman, no, I'm not only taking census from males, because back then they were just keeping track of the males. And then like he points to, like, people will point, like here, if I can zoom in a little bit, is a map. And then he'll say, oh, if you are from Germany, it's barbarian, the Germany. And then he'll say, Roman, bien. So like people from Rome are good. And he'll point to different parts of this map. But he'll say to my daughter and me that we don't count, right? Because he's all in character. They also have live animals at this thing. They have people, this person is, I think she's like making, I'm not sure what that is. Let's close that out. She's making different incense and stuff, but you can see these are people that are just visiting it and looking. But here you have this person, she would be probably speaking Hebrew in this. And they take a whole year to kind of get ready for this. This is supposed to be the baby Jesus and Joseph and Mary in the stable, which something I didn't know, but apparently calling it Away in the Manger is, they renamed it because it was a throff, or it didn't rhyme well. So manger, it was like, a stable, was also used in the different Christmas carols. Gustavo, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for joining. So I guess like the manger was, they changed the word for where the animals live to kind of like rhyme. At least that's according to Seth Meyers on late night, which I love watching. Not being sponsored by Seth Meyers. But any case, English with Lila, thank you. Good afternoon and good evening. It's morning here, and English with Lila, thank you for joining. So today I'm talking about holiday traditions, and this is something I'm doing tonight, is going to this living nativity. They usually would have this, it's outside, super cold, but they would also have an inside part with like cookies and stuff, but they're not having that this year because of the fact that we still have coronavirus. So I will be going to this, it'll be outside, and we will probably just bring our own hot chocolate with us because there won't be any inside part. This is another little thing. This was part of this whole Yankee candle that I talked about. They actually have fake snow, which is like little, it's actually like soap bubbles, and every 10 minutes there's like fake snow on it. So this was one of these gifts that Google made up for me. And let me see. So if you are just joining, please put in the comment section where you're coming from. I know Gustavo, you're coming from Venezuela. And I see Johnny is coming from Venezuela as well. So Johnny, I met Johnny in a WhatsApp group. Thank you. Actually, Johnny, I think you are you Alex from Venezuela? I'm not sure, but I think that I've talked to you before in WhatsApp. Any case? Okay, all right, great. So 2 people from Venezuela this morning. Yay for Venezuela. Let me know what your traditions are for the holidays in the comments. That would be awesome. I'm sharing some pictures from my traditions. I have a ton. I don't think I'll get through all of it, but maybe I'll have a part 2 of this. So here is our mayor, and he's been mayor for like a super long time, like 30 years or something. He likes to get all dressed up and be part of the parade. And a little bit about him. I did an internship with him when I was in college. He was mayor then, and he's still mayor, and he was just reelected mayor. He's a good guy. I kind of think we're ready for a new mayor, though. I kind of feel like Jane Austen in Pride and Prejudice had this one saying, I think it was Mr. Bennet said to Mary as she was playing the piano, and he said, you need to let other people exhibit their talents. And because Mary was going on and not letting anyone else. And I kind of feel like, Mayor Dean, let other people exhibit their talents. Why don't you retire? But he's a good guy overall. I think it's time to let other people. But that's just a little bit about the history of my town. We have the longest serving mayor, I think, in the U.S. And we have this parade where he likes to dress up, old fashioned, and be part of the parade. This is also part of the parade. So trucks will take trailers and kind of make a decoration. This is a gingerbread house. And so that will be part of our parade. You can see everybody's bundled up because it's usually super cold. Like right now, it's -6 degrees Fahrenheit. Nativity scenes on Christmas trees are very common over here. Yeah, and you know what? A few years ago, I was in Mexico, and I have some pictures of different nativity scenes from Mexico that I can share with you. Let me just stop sharing, and I'm going to find those pictures. So I went to Mexico 2007. It was like right before. I went on December 26th, right after Christmas, and I spent New Year's Eve and about 10 days in Mexico. And I have some pictures from that that I'm going to find to share from you, some nativity scenes from Mexico. Let me find those and I'll share those with you. So you say in Venezuela, nativity scenes are very common. That's pretty cool. Let me see. I'm going to find my Mexico. Mexico. And all right, now I will find some of those nativity scenes from Mexico. Because like I said, I was there, I guess it seems like yesterday that I was in Mexico, but I guess it was a really long time ago. And let me see one of the nativity scenes. Here we go. Here's one of the nativity scenes from Mexico. And so this was from Mexico City. And I have nativity scenes from Acapulco. So I spent maybe about 10 days in Acapulco and 4 days in Mexico City. And it was a really good time. Oh, Johnny says, haha, thank you so much for invitation, Rochelle. We have American culture about Christmas time here, all American influence, but I think the difference with us is the seasons. Yeah, so it's super warm, as I understand, in Venezuela. And you know, I read something a long time ago that there was a tradition in Venezuela about roller skating on Christmas. Let me know if that's true. Like I bought this, I think it was this thing with chocolates in each day. I think it's called an advent calendar. And so one of the days was about Venezuela. And it said something about like a tradition of roller skating on Christmas. Let me know in the comments, either Gustavo or Alex. Let me know if that's true. Because I have this little nativity, or no, it was an advent calendar. And so they had little histories about different countries for Christmas, or little traditions. And one of the things talked about roller skating on Christmas or Christmas Eve. So I don't know if that's true, but let me know. I'm going to try to find one of the other ones that I have. There are a lot of places that I went to. Here's another nativity scene. This one is also from Mexico City. So here's one. I'm not sure where it was in Mexico City, but there were two different ones that I saw in Mexico City. I went to, here's another nativity scene, again in Mexico City. This is next to some very, very famous cathedral in Mexico City that's sinking because Mexico City is sinking. So this is at that cathedral. And I do have some pictures. These pictures are from that cathedral that's sinking. This is the part that you can see all the way into Mexico City. And here's a view of Mexico City. So I went to Mexico the day after Christmas. I became friends with somebody from a website called penpal.com, and I became friends with her, and we practiced Spanish on Facebook Messenger video app for over a year, and I got to know her family, and she invited me to Mexico. And because she had holidays, and I have a good long vacation during Christmas, I decided to go the day after Christmas so I could take at least 2 weeks and stay there. So that is why I was there in Mexico, 2017 to 18, and spent New Year's Eve on the beach in Acapulco. That was really super cool. Maybe that could be another topic for another live. But here's another nativity scene, I think inside the cathedral. Here's another one. So there's not Venezuela, but I think, kind of similar. I would be very interested if any of you, Gustavo or Johnny, want to send me pictures of your nativity scenes. Maybe I can share them on YouTube sometime. That would be awesome. Trying to find some pictures from Acapulco. But let's see. Acapulco. There's a lot of pictures from Mexico City. Oh, here's another nativity scene. Here's me in this nativity scene in Mexico City. And let's see, I'm trying to find the one from Acapulco. Oh, one of the things we did was the Three Kings Day in Acapulco, Three Kings Day, where we had the Three Kings Church cake. Do you do that in Venezuela? Where you cut the cake, each person cuts the cake, and if you find one of the little characters, either Jesus or the Three Kings or something, then the next year you're supposed to bring the Three Kings cake to the gathering. So I did actually find the baby Jesus, but I wasn't able to bring the Three Kings cake the next year because I was not in Mexico. So English Elia said, Indians are celebrating Christmas. Do you have a collection of pictures? Yeah, I do have. You know what? I have hundreds of pictures, and that's the thing. I've been sharing hundreds of pictures from our celebrations. Here's my daughter with Santa Claus. We go to see Santa Claus. We haven't done it last year because of COVID, and I don't know if we're going to do it this year because my daughter's getting a little old for that. She still says she believes in Santa, and I believe in Santa too, but I don't think she wants to go see Santa. But this was, I think, the last time we went to see Santa before coronavirus, and we go to a place called the Colonial Candies. This actually is not really Santa. It's actually Mr. Hebert, who was the inventor of Hebert chocolates, which are very famous here in New England. And he has a place called Colonial Candy Mansion. And so he's kind of one of Santa's helpers, having the children come and see him so he can kind of tell Santa what the kids want. So he's one of Santa's helpers. So this was the last time that we went to go see Santa in person before the coronavirus started. But I have so many pictures that I can share. Let me try to find some of my pictures. I'm going to just stop sharing and find some of the pictures that I'd like to share of my ornaments, because I have so many pictures of the ornaments as well. Oh, I want to jump back. I'm sorry if I jump back into different things, but I talked about this person that made all these carvings, and this was when my daughter was very young. I think she was 2 years old in this picture. And here are some of the carvings that he made. Santa, he made it out of styrofoam, and he painted onto the styrofoam, so you can see that you can see a little bit of the paint kind of flicking off of the styrofoam. But all of this was styrofoam that he carved. Here is the nativity scene behind Santa, and I think Mrs. Claus here. So this used to be in his yard that he would have this out, and we would go there. But I think he passed away maybe like 8 years ago. His birthday is the same as my daughter's, and their difference in age is 100 years. So I used to go. That was one of our traditions, was to go to his yard, and sometimes he came out and he would give the children a little mouse that he carved. And he said that he got these mice from Santa because he actually was from, Canada, like really, really far near the Arctic. And he said when he was little, he knew Santa, and Santa would carve these mice for him. And so he would have a gift from Santa to the kids. Somewhere I have a picture of that too. So Johnny from Venezuela, or actually, I guess Alex from Venezuela, said we decorate all the streets with lights until now with the pandemic and the hyperinflation. We're still celebrating our good times. Okay, that's awesome. Like, we do that as well. And some of the pictures that I was showing of, I think the pictures that I was showing of our parade kind of show our streets all decorated. This picture that I'll share with you is from that Yankee candle factory, but it's what we do. All our streets and our houses are kind of decorated like this. I don't really put all those lights. I have this kind of projector that I use for my house because it's easier than trying to get up on the ladder and nail up all these lights. But we do have all these lights. Americans love to put lights all over their houses for Christmas. And this was one of the displays that I went to go see from the Yankee Candle Factory. And I can show other ones. This is actually from, this particular one is from the Botanical Gardens. We're actually going to go see that again this year. And they will take, this one was actually kind of crazy because we had an ice storm, which then kind of had ice on all of the trees. It's not as good a quality because it was taken one of my older cell phones, but it was so beautiful. And actually where we went here, we weren't actually supposed to go, but we didn't see, there was a big warning saying don't go this way, it's super icy and dangerous, you could fall. But it was so beautiful because the ice was kind of like iced onto the lights, so it made for a really cool effect, which I wish it came out better. But again, this is one of my older cell phones, so the picture quality at night wasn't as good. But it's so beautiful. This is another one where I think you can see the ice just on top of all these trees and on top of the ice, on top of the lights, and how beautiful it was. So we're going to go again this year, but I don't think we're going to see that because of the fact that, well, I do hope there's not an ice storm, because one of the things that happens when we have ice storms like that is we sometimes lose electricity. And that year, I think we lost electricity for a week. So I really don't want an ice storm like that because I don't want to lose electricity for a week, especially where it's so cold. Like I said, right now it's -6 degrees Celsius, and it was even colder when I woke up. So I actually need to have electricity to have heat in my house. If I do not have electricity, I won't have any heat unless I have this fire behind me, but the fire really doesn't heat anything more than this room. It will not heat my whole house. But I would love to hear from you where you're coming from. I know we have Lila is from India. I've had Vignesh from India, Gustavo, who I also know as Alfonso from Venezuela, Johnny, who I also know as Alex from Venezuela. But let me know in the comments where you're coming from and what your traditions are. I want to share different things that we do. Another thing, I have another picture that I'll share. So when we go to the Yankee Candle Factory, either Santa is there or sometimes after Christmas, Mrs. Claus. And so here's my daughter. I think she might have been 8 or 9 years old in this picture. And here she is. We went after Christmas, and she's kind of telling Mrs. Claus about her Christmas. So that's like one of the traditions we do. I haven't done that for a few years. At least since before the pandemic, but they have all these beautiful village displays there. They have train displays. They have trains that are kind of like going along the ceilings of the different rooms. They have that room with all the fake snow, which is really soap coming down. And then you can buy candles. You can even make candles there, which we've done. And it's just a lot of fun. It's about an hour from here in Deerfield, Massachusetts, which they also have a history back with our Native Americans, really famous history with the Native Americans back from Deerfield as well. So, Vignesh is saying, what are you saying? Let's see, tests. Okay, so COVID testing to travel. Yes, I think that's everywhere. I think we need to be very careful when we're traveling this Christmas season. I think in the winter, we're all going inside. There's more chances of getting sick because people are going to be closer together. So we just need to be careful. Knock on wood, my family has been all safe during this whole pandemic, and I'm very grateful for that. I think if we wear our masks and we are vaccinated, if you can be, just be safe and be healthy. So my pictures, most of them I've taken with my phone. I'm amazed with how good quality you can get even at night with taking pictures with your phones. I do have professional cameras, but most of these pictures that I'm showing you, I've taken just with my cell phone. So probably the cell phone you see in my hand, I've owned the cell phone for close to 4 years now, so a lot of these pictures are from my cell phone, but I do have professional cameras as well. But this one is super convenient because it fits in my pocket, right? So I can have it wherever. And I'm an Android person. Let me know in the comments if you are an Android or Apple, but I have like 10,000 pictures on this phone, and my friends that have Apple are always deleting their pictures so they can fit more pictures. So again, that's why I choose to be an Android person. This picture is from the Yankee Candle Factory, just kind of showing you, excuse me, one of their displays that they have there. All of these holiday different buildings that they have. And I just love that. I think it's beautiful. So again, please let me know in the comments where you're coming from. Hit that like button, and let me know what your traditions are. Lila, you say that you guys are also celebrating Christmas in India. What kind of things do you do to celebrate Christmas in India? I'd love to hear that, or I'd love to be able to know what your traditions are. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked, what am I doing on Christmas Day? I am going to have friends over, and I'm going to make a turkey. So this is the turkey that I made one Christmas. I cook it in this roaster oven, which is really old, but it cooks really quickly in the roaster oven, and that way I have my own oven still free to make bread or else that I'm going to make, right? And here is the stuffing. So I stuff it with bread and sauteed onions and garlic, and stuff it, and then I cook it. It takes about 3 to 4 hours. This is about a 20-pound turkey, and I usually I have about 8 to 10 people. That includes the people that live in my house over. This year I think I'm just having 4 people, so we'll have the people that live in my house plus another 4 or 5 people that will come and celebrate Christmas with us, and I will make a turkey again. So that was my turkey from a few years ago. Here is a Christmas that was unusual. This Christmas, it was 74 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that equals in Celsius. Somebody let me know in the comments, but it was so warm. You can see my daughter has like no jacket on. It was so warm that she could actually take her shoes and socks off. I think this was 2015. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's the global warming, because you see that usually it's super cold. We'd have snow on the ground, but here it was warm enough to be without any coat on, and we could actually, I do have pictures of her with no shoes and socks on because it was so warm. So that was one Christmas when it was really, really warm. Here's another picture of her. Outside we have this kind of playground with a slide, and here she is out there again with short sleeves on because it was so warm. Here's a picture from Christmas morning of my daughter. She's opening up some of her gifts. I think she was probably like 4 years old in that picture. So please let me know. Please hit that like button, and please let me know where you're coming from in the world. Let's see. Here's another picture I'm going to share of Christmas morning. So we open up the gifts, and some gifts, like I said, are from Santa. Most gifts are from myself and my children's father. Now, most of the gifts, I said, I don't like to be commercialistic. I think I like to get gifts that are practical, but of course this was a toy. She loved Hello Kitty. Let me know in the comments if you love Hello Kitty. we still are Hello Kitty fans. So this was a Hello Kitty car. I see the picture is not super, it's kind of grainy, but any case, it just is Christmas morning to show, the kids opening up their gifts. Here's a picture of that Christmas that was super warm, and it was Christmas Eve, and my daughter throwing out that reindeer food, trying to throw it on the roof for all of Santa's reindeers, but as you can see, most of it fell on the ground, so I think the mice were happy that night. And another tradition, this was my old church, and my daughter sang in the choir, so that was a tradition to be part of singing in the choir for Christmas. That was a big tradition for us. So let me know, like I said, I'd love to know what your traditions are. I will share another picture. Here's another picture of that really warm, like I said, no shoes and socks. This was Christmas Day. I think 2015, I'm not exactly sure. So that was Christmas Day, and let me see. Here is one where the kids were in a story, the whole like nativity story. I think my daughter, she loved cats, so she's somewhere in here as a cat. No, this year actually I think she was the angel, but sometimes she was the cat. There was always a cat in the manger. So again, this picture, I'm sorry it's not the best quality, but the kids would all get dressed up as different characters, and I think this was the choir here. And so let me see, one of our traditions, so these again are the pictures from the person that did all of the different carvings and stuff. Vignesh is saying we will celebrate the days of Christmas and be arranging with trees. So, when I'm talking, like, for me, Christmas and the holidays is really just the traditions. Like, I'm not like super, this is not meant to be a religious thing. Obviously, you see the nativity scene and all that. But I really just think the beauty of all these decorations is very beautiful. I mean, people have different beliefs throughout the world. I just think all this stuff is super beautiful. I love the whole tradition of the Christmas tree. I love the tradition. I think the nativity scenes are beautiful. Let me see. So I just really want to share. We have a tradition also that the kids will open up. I'm trying to find a picture of it, but the kids will open up 2 presents on Christmas Eve. They will open up usually one present is an ornament to put on the tree, and one present is to like Christmas pajamas. So that is like one of our traditions to open up on Christmas Eve. Lila says, oh great, you have your own church. So yeah, so now I belong to a Unitarian church where we believe in everything. We talk about Buddhism, we talk about Hanukkah, we talk about Christianity, we talk about Hinduism, we talk about everything. So, but I did belong to a more Christian church before. I believe in spirituality, but my church now is called Unitarian, meaning we believe in everything. And mostly believe in just being kind to everybody. A typical service, which I do work for the church, a typical service will be talking about the effects of racism, we'll be talking about environmental issues. So it's not your traditional, Christian church where it's just all talking about God. No, our services are talking about the effects of old age. We're talking about the effects on the environment. We're talking about racial justice. So that is like my tradition as far as like the church. And I will be actually working for the church on Christmas Eve. And we do more of like celebrating the winter solstice and just spirituality. So do I worship under the Christmas tree? No, I don't really. Like, I think I'm more of just a spiritual person where I believe in the spirituality. I believe there's something after we die because I'd love to see my grandparents again. I do love the whole stories and the beautiful nativity scenes of the Jesus story, but I'm not like a super like Christian religious person. I think everyone has their own beliefs, and this is really meant to just share what traditions that people have for the holidays, whether it's Kwanzaa, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it is Christian traditions, and just share what do you do. Like, we get together with family, we go to these different things. Like I said, I go to that living nativity that I talk about. I do this whole thing on Black Friday. I know, Lila, we were talking about Black Friday last week, and we go and buy the Christmas tree. I'm going to try to find a picture of that to share with you. Let me see. So December 2020. So we go and get our tree the day after Thanksgiving. And so that is something that is like a Black Friday tradition. So I'm going to find the pictures to share with you of that. Actually, that would be November 2020. I don't think I took pictures this year of getting the tree, but let me see. I'll try to get some pictures to share from that. So this is the tree farm. I love this picture because you can see there was like a fog that morning, and this was kind of a warm morning. There was a frost, and then it got warm, and the frost melted, and it kind of had this beautiful effect of like a fog in the distance. But you can see that's where we go. Here's my children. This is the thing that will carry the tree. And last year we wore masks to go do it. And here is my son cutting down the tree. So that's what we do the day after Thanksgiving, is on Black Friday, is we go and cut down our tree. That's what we were talking about last week, Lila. So that is just one of my traditions, is getting the tree. I didn't take many pictures this year when we went to the tree farm, but there you have it. That is our tradition on Black Friday of getting the tree. Then the tradition will be decorating it. It takes me hours to decorate it, because the first thing that goes on is that star that I showed the picture of my daughter putting that star on. Then lights go on, then garland go on the tree. And let me just get a picture that kind of shows all the things I'm talking about for my tree. It is a big process to decorate that tree, because I have like so many. It's a complicated tree, and it takes me maybe like 3 to 4 hours from start to finish to decorate this tree. Trying to find the best picture that I can share with you all of the tree. Where is a picture that, all right, so this is a picture I'm going to share from a few years ago. Now, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, the trees were fatter. The trees have been kind of skinny lately. So this is a really fat tree, which I love, but I have not been able to find trees like this at the tree farm. But the first thing that goes on is the star, and then the lights go on. Then this is the garland that I put on the tree. And then ornaments go on the tree. After that, I think this was before I actually put that village under the tree, because the village is not underneath. I think I started putting the village under the tree maybe the last 8 years. So after putting all this, and these are glass icicles. I used to put something called tinsel on the tree, and I found that the cats were trying to eat that, like this cat right here. Well, not this cat in particular, but this cat was trying to eat the tinsel, which can be very dangerous for them. Tinsel is kind of like a metally material that looks like icicles, and that would be very dangerous for the cat. So now I bought these glass icicles to kind of, I think they're more beautiful than tinsel. And then last, after all the star, the lights, the ornaments, the garland, and these icicles go on, then I set up fake snow. You can see some fake snow underneath there. And I set up the village buildings and all these little people. There's little people. After that is the Lionel train set that you can see the caboose here. And this Lionel train set I bought for my son when he was 4 years old, so it's 14 years old. I think the tradition of putting this whole set underneath a tree, I've been doing that for maybe like 8 years, because I just looked at a picture from probably more than 10 years ago and I didn't see the village. So every year I've added more and more, but now that whole start to finish, from getting the tree at the tree farm and actually finishing it up, it's like an all-day thing, because of my tree being kind of complex and I'm kind of picky on it. Another thing that I do is every year, like, I go and I buy different ornaments for the tree. I said that I have ornaments from Mexico, and I'll share that. So this ornament here, this is actually a Mexican hat. The squirrel didn't come with it, but I kind of put the squirrel with the Mexican hat this year because I thought that was funny. And you can see that the squirrel is trying to get this acorn, right? But I also have ornaments from, what do I want to say, Russia? Ravi, thank you for joining. Where are you? Can you remind me, Ravi? I think you're from India. I think we had a conversation. So I have ornaments from Russia. This particular one here is showing the troika. And I had these ones made for my children. This one says Vincent. And here's the troika, although the third, okay, here's 1, 2, 3 horses. And so troika is the whole thing of the 3 horses in a row pulling the sleigh. So these ones, I had one for my daughter made and one for my son made, and so I had their names put on them. And let's see, I'll try. This is something my daughter made last year for someone. This one is, she made this out of cardboard and she painted it, and it's supposed to be a vintage camper, because somebody said that they liked vintage campers. So she actually made this. She designed it and used hot glue with cardboard, and then she painted it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see some other pictures that I can share with you. So this right here that I'll share with you is, this is Russian, what is it called? It's a nesting doll, and I can't remember how you say that in Russian, but basically these are what's inside of it. So the tree is in the very inside of it, and the Santa, so the tree is inside the Santa, and the Santa is inside of this one here. And so this lovely picture my father took, he is a professional photographer, so I asked him if he could take the picture for me, but I also have some pictures of it on the tree somewhere. So like I said, I have decorations from all over the world. This is one of my first ones that I'm going to share with you. I have a tradition of buying new ornaments from around the world. This one is, I don't know where this one's from, but I love the VW bug. I think they're really cool. And so this is a very delicate glass ornament that I bought, the first one that I bought when I got my Christmas tree. Started having a Christmas tree in my, back then I lived in a condo. And this is, I bought this, I think, in the year 2000. So it's been 21 years that I've been having like a real Christmas tree, because that is when I finally had a place that I could have real Christmas trees. So that's one of the ornaments that I have. Let me find some other ornaments. So here's another one from, I like to get ornaments when I go places. So I went to Pikes Peak, Colorado, and we took the cog up the, up Pikes Peak, which is, there are 3 trains that go like straight up a mountain in the world. One in Switzerland, I believe, one in Colorado, Pikes Peak, and the other one in New Hampshire, Mount Washington, and I've been on 2 of them. And so this one is from Pikes Peak. And so, like I said, when I go on different vacations, I like to buy some ornaments that are from that place. Like I bought ones from Mexico. I bought Russian ones, even though I never went to Russia, but I have bought Russian ones because my children are part Russian. And so I do like to do that. I'm going to give time for a few more questions because I've been talking for over an hour and I want to be mindful to everyone's time, including myself. I'm going to not be able to continue talking straight. But let me share a few more. If you want to share some of your holiday traditions, please do so. Here is an ornament that is from Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is very famous for the fishing industry here in Massachusetts. And there was a movie, The Perfect Storm, that is very famous. Look that up. I'm not sure where you can find it, but you probably can find it for sure. YouTube might not be for free, but Perfect Storm, based in Gloucester. And so here's an ornament that I bought from Gloucester, Massachusetts. So please let me know. Let's see. Did you purchase your Christmas tree? My Christmas tree came from a farm, Lila. I think I tried to tell you that last week, but I tried to show you some pictures of the farm where they grow these Christmas trees. And it takes I think 10 to 15 years for a tree to be ready to be cut. So every year they plant new trees, and in 10 to 15 years those trees are ready to be cut. So the Christmas tree farm, they make all of their money, the majority of their money, from the trees that people buy. They might have some other things they do for money throughout the rest of the year, like maybe they do plowing for people in the winter, but the majority of their money is made from growing their Christmas trees. And it takes 10 to 15 years for these trees to be from very little to be, mine is about 6 feet, because that's how we measure things in the United States. It's a little bit over 6 feet tall, but they sell them anywhere from little trees to over, probably people with really tall ceilings might buy 10-foot trees. And so my tree is bought from a farm. And let me show you one of my favorite ornaments. Oh, let me first open up the ornament. I will show you, this one is one of my favorite ones. It's a Russian ornament, and I think it's supposed to be this like blood cathedral, or Cathedral de Sangrad, I think it is, in St. Petersburg or in Moscow. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one it is, but it's a very famous one. And so I think it's not an exact replica, but it is a glass ornament. So we have to be I wrap these in bubble wrap when I take them down. And you can also see the VW bug ornament there. And a few others. This is a Russian dancer, probably more like a Ukrainian kind of design. And I have some friends that I met in Hello Talk. I don't see Helene here, but I know she was thinking of taking part. But do let me know. I think it's more like a Ukrainian design. And then I think this one is supposed to be from Peru. I haven't been to Peru. I do have some friends that I met from learning Spanish, but I do buy ornaments from different places that they have ornaments from Peru in different parts of the world. So this one was from Peru. And something really funny. When my son was very little, I was going to a Christmas party at work, so I made a costume. This wasn't very comfortable, but the costume was for me to be a present. It wasn't, I didn't really think of how uncomfortable it would be to be at a party with it. And then my son was the little Santa, so I think this is kind of funny. This was back when I had a condo, and so you can see the tree. I didn't have all these fancy ornaments at the time, but you can see the nesting doll here, and some other glass ornaments. So it's been 20 years that I've been collecting all these ornaments, but here's this crazy costume that I did one year. So a couple more questions if you have. We'll go a few more minutes, but let me see. My son played saxophone, so I do have this little saxophone. And I think I also have, like my daughter's playing saxophone, but she also was playing a mandolin. And somewhere I have a picture of the mandolin. I have a little mandolin that I hang on the tree. So I like to get things like that kind of have something to do with our family. And then this one here is, I think it's my daughter or my son. I don't remember, but I do these things where this was a pre-made ornament and you could put a picture, and I believe that was when my son or daughter was born. I think it was my daughter. I don't remember. So please let me know where you're coming from in the world. Please hit that like button. And this is a picture of my current church, the Unitarian Church in Harvard. This was 2019. That was the Unitarian Church. And that year, my daughter was actually in a pageant at that church, and it was not a traditional story. It was a whole story about the environment, and it was about a tree and the environment. So they don't do just the traditional like nativity story. They usually do something a little different because, like I said, we believe in everything there, from Hinduism and Buddhism and Christianity and everything. We kind of just explore all kinds of spirituality. Here's another picture of my cat, and I kind of think it's funny because it's behind this little village, and it's like this giant cat, which actually this cat is scared of his own shadow, but love that picture. So again, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Oh, this picture here is my daughter being the tree. Let me share that one. There's so many pictures that I have to share. When I was collecting all these pictures to share it with you, maybe this is going to be like a two-part thing. Maybe I'll go live another time and share some more pictures and talk about some more traditions, because I can't possibly share all of these pictures now. But please hit the like, let me know where you're coming from, and like I said, there might be a part 2. I'm not sure. Big Nesh says, actually for us long ago we had celebrated Christmas and decorated decorations and Jesus and angels. Yeah, and so like that's the thing. I do have a nativity scene out on one of my shelves that I have. Sorry if you hear the sound. I have this like kind of, my fireplace behind me has like a fan to blow out the warm air, and I think the fan motor is not working so well. But in any case, if you have any other questions, please let me know. And like I said, I do take requests for ideas for live. So if you have an idea, please type it in the chat, or after you can put it in the comment section, because I would love to hear your different ideas. Could you please describe about Santa? So Santa, that is a good question. Let me just hit this thing, because sometimes when I hit it, it stops. Okay, so all right, Santa. Santa comes on Christmas Eve and goes all over the world. We actually sometimes watch Santa on Google has Santa tracking. So let me share with you this. So Santa goes all around the world and arrives at people's houses at midnight. So here it is, almost over us in Massachusetts. So we watch it on the Google Santa tracker. So on Christmas Eve, you can actually go and you can see the santatracker.google.com. Typed it in, and you can kind of watch Santa going all around the world. So the idea is that he's landing, and he's got some magical powers because he's able to land on people's roofs or get in, if they're in an apartment, he goes some other magical way to get in their apartment, to put the presents under the tree. And so he has a magical power to do that all around the world in different places. So at midnight on the East Coast, he's going all around the East Coast, and he's landing. So he comes up the East Coast, and he's in Charlotte, then he's in Washington, DC, then he's in Philadelphia, New York, and then Boston, and he's going up the East Coast, and then he'll go down this way to the next time zone, and so on. So he can hit all the places around the world at midnight, right? Because that's when he comes, right? He lands on your rooftop at midnight and magically gets all of those presents under your tree, and then gets back into his sled. So the only way he could do that is by magic. And so is Santa kind of like God? You know, I don't know. I think Santa is just the idea of giving. So I don't want to say that Santa's not real, because we have people, and I believe he's real. We have children that believe in Santa, and some people don't believe he's real. But Santa is just the idea of giving gifts, or giving gifts to people that you care about. So in that respect, Santa is real, right? Does he live at the North Pole, or does he live in this house? Well, I'm not going to say. Maybe he doesn't live in the North Pole, maybe he doesn't, but I don't want to. I'm not going to say that Santa doesn't live at the North Pole. Any case, you can probably find lots of other videos that can give you more. There's so many. There's wonderful Santa Claus is Coming to Town is one of my favorite traditions to watch that one, where they kind of tell the story about how Santa came from this village where there was this burgermeister, and he was basically making toys with the elves and delivered them, but the burgermeister didn't like the toys, and then he went to go live at the North Pole, and I think there was the big scary snow monster that really was actually very kind and gave Santa some magic seeds that allowed his reindeer to fly through the air and all that. So if you want to get the real story about Santa, look up Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It's a lovely claymation that tells you the whole story of Santa. There's also a lovely Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer claymation that will tell you that story. But for me to tell you the whole story, that would probably be another half hour or more, and I don't think I could talk that much longer. So like I said, Big Nash, I think I told you we're going to get a turkey on Christmas, and my family's coming. We're going to open presents that Santa and I bought for my kids, and that's what we're going to do in the morning. Then family will come on in the afternoon. So that's our tradition for Christmas Day. So thank you so much for everyone for joining. I really enjoyed having this conversation with everybody. Like I said, let me know in the comments ideas for new lives, and thank you again. All right, thank you so much.